Brendon O'Connor is an associate professor at the United States Study Centre at the University of Sydney. He says the loss of Edward Kennedy's blue ribbon seat is a big blow for the Obama administration.
Yes, it's a major loss because he won Massachusetts by 26 percentage points and it's just been lost by 5 percentage points, so that's a 31% turnaround. And Massachusetts is one of the great sort of left-of-centre liberal states, as Americans call it, in the United States. It's produced a number of presidential aspirants, John Kerry, Michael Dukakis, obviously the Kennedy family. So it's a major psychological loss, and it's a loss in the sense of the left of the Democratic Party will, I think, be feeling that it's lost a real base of power.
But it's not just the loss of a blue ribbon seat, is it? I mean, could this in fact threaten the healthcare reform, for instance?
Yes, because Barack Obama's party, the Democratic Party, had a 60-vote majority in the Senate, which is a supermajority. It can get past this strange thing called a filibuster. They no longer have it with Scott Brown coming in, a Republican, so they'll have to negotiate more with Republicans to get legislation through. And healthcare reform is now in jeopardy, although it's been passed by the Senate in a particular form. If there are amendments and it needs to be changed, they won't have that 60 votes to push it through. So there's trouble ahead on that issue.
Worldwide support for the president was almost unprecedented at his inauguration. Was he ever going to be able to live up to such lofty expectations?
Yeah, and huge expectations in the United States as well. And I think there was so much on his agenda. He has had a lot of effort into this Afghanistan question, quite sensibly. Obviously, Iraq is still there as a major issue and other issues in the Middle East. So I think a lot of his attention has been on the foreign policy front and on the economic crisis. And on healthcare reform, in some ways, he's not been as engaged in that issue as you might think. And I think he's inevitably lost, I suppose, some of that shine that he came in with, because he's been brought into so many issues and he's not going to win on all of them. And I suppose his inexperience to some extent has probably showed at times on particular issues.
So what's it going to take to regain the lustre? What are the biggest problems or challenges facing the Obama administration?
Well, if healthcare reform gets through and 30 million or so more Americans are covered, this will be a victory of quite significant proportion. So it might look a bit shaky at the moment, but that will be sold as a real kind of historic change, which it will be. The issue of cap and trade, our equivalent of the ETS, will be an issue which will be very difficult now to promote. I think Obama will be on the back foot. He'd have to spend a lot of political capital making the argument for America to take greater action on global warming. I think this would be a good idea, but whether he decides to do that or not, I think will be one of the big questions of this year.
Brendon O'Connor, thanks for joining us.
Thank you.